troops and police are deploying to Haiti next week, which is an unpopular decision in Kenya. Is the U.S. outsourcing its Haiti policy to you? And what is Kenya getting out of it? How would you explain this to your constituents?
We are not doing this for America. Neither are we doing it for anybody. We are doing it for humanity. The people in Haiti are Africans like us. The people in Haiti are human beings. We are a responsible global citizen as a country. We have done this. We're not starting in Haiti. Kenya has participated in 47 different countries in peacekeeping. We have a great tradition of doing very well, from Kosovo to all manner of places. We've been there for humanity. We are going to Haiti because we believe in humanity. We believe we are a responsible corporate citizen of this globe, and we believe that women and children in Haiti deserve help. And Kenya is going to show up for the women, for the children in Haiti. We're going to show up.
But do you think that the women and children in northern Kenya also deserve to be protected too?
We have 3,000 men and women in North Rift in Kenya. For the first time, the government of Kenya is setting up permanent installations, security installations in Kenya, because the women in North Rift in Kenya are also the same as the women and children in Haiti. We can do this. The fact that we have challenges in Kenya has never stopped Kenya from discharging its global responsibilities. And it didn't start with me. That is the Kenyan tradition. That is the Kenyan DNA.
I wanted to ask you some questions about the crisis currently in Eastern Congo. And there's a security situation, but the current dispute between Tshisekedi and Kagame could possibly further inflame the region today. How can you solve the problem?
Just so that you know, Kenya participated in the East African force that was in Eastern DRC. We did what I consider a very commendable job. We pacified the area. We got the M23 to move away from the areas that we had agreed. In fact, we were remaining with the cantonment question. And the M23 asked the question, do we go into the camps, surrender our arms before we have a conversation? Or do we have a conversation so that as we go into the camps, we know what the conversation is all about? Can we put our grievances on the table? And it makes sense to all of us. And we asked the government in DRC to consider a conversation, a dialogue with their own citizens so that we can resolve this issue. EAC, we believe that the challenge in Eastern DRC cannot be solved using military force, especially if those in contention are willing to have a conversation. That is why we asked the government of DRC to consider seriously using the instruments that are available in the Nairobi peace process, which is a dialogue process, or in the Rwandan peace process, which is also a dialogue process, or even a combination of both. We still believe that the solution to the challenges of Eastern DRC do not lie in use of military force, but lie in a consultative dialogue process, and the instruments are available. The sooner we access, the sooner we use the instruments of dialogue, consultation that are in place, the sooner we will solve that problem. I had a conversation with the leadership of SADC. As we exited, they came in, and I told them very clearly that we don't think that there is a military solution here. And I think slowly, after several months, they now agree with us that there needs to be a rethink of whether we should be deploying more troops or we should be deploying more people to engage in dialogue, in consultation, in a conversation, because these are citizens who are ready and willing to engage their government. If you ask me, I would go along and say, let us forget about complicating this problem. This is not about Rwanda and DRC. This is not about Kagame and Tshisekedi. This is about citizens and their government. And if we understood it in that context, the sooner we will solve the problem.
So, from what you say, you do agree with Paul Kagame when he says the M23 is a Congolese problem?
It's not Kagame who is saying it. As heads of state, in a meeting, we asked M23, the people in there, are they Rwandese or they are Congolese? And DRC said, these are Congolese. End of question. So if these are Congolese, how does it become a Rwanda problem? How does it become a Kagame problem? I think since it is settled that M23 are Congolese, it is a Congolese problem, and therefore we need a Congolese solution. And in our opinion, listening to all the sides, whether it is using the Luanda process or the Nairobi peace process, the Nairobi peace process I can speak authoritatively because I have attended some of the meetings. M23 want to be involved in the dialogue. They are saying, why are you locking us out? We are Congolese. We have issues. We want to talk to our government. I don't find any better outcome than a citizenship that has grievances, that have issues with their government, who are willing to engage their government in a discussion so that they can sort out their grievances. I do that all the time. When the opposition, for example in Kenya, raised issues about an election that I won fair and square, 6 months later, 6 months after the election, they said, we think we won the election. 6 months later. And they caused issues. I told them, okay, let's talk. We sat down, we talked, you know. It didn't take anything away from me. We engaged in a conversation. We settled the issues. We took the matters to Parliament. There is now a process. So there is nothing anybody loses when you engage your citizens in dialogue.
Your candidacy was unique in Kenyan history because it had a detribalized approach. And what does, I mean, we do not hear you talking so much about the success story right now. I know you have lots of things to focus on, but does this mean that the ethnic bloc politics is still an issue?
Let me tell you, Kenyans made 3 fundamental decisions in the last election. They did away with tribal arithmetic that had always bothered and clouded our elections. I was not elected because I came from the largest community. No. In fact, many communities came together to say, we are going to elect a person because of an agenda. And that is the agenda that I am faithful to. Number 2, we settled the question as to who decides. Is it the deep state? Is it the bureaucracy? Or is it the people? There was a big push by the so-called deep state and I don't know, system and I don't know what. But the people made the decision. And it is now settled in Kenya that it is the people who ultimately make the decision. And we made history, you know. For the first time, we settled this and it was peaceful. Always, it had been characteristic that after elections, then there are issues, then there is chaos. So this time round, 3 things happened, as I told you. We had an election that completely decimated tribalism. Number 2, we had an election around issues. Number 3, we had an election that settled that Kenya is a peaceful country. And we can have our election, and after the election, everybody goes home, and we move on with our lives. So it was historic. It is not for me to concentrate now about the election. The election is behind us. Right. It is now my responsibility to implement the agenda that I agreed with the people of Kenya on housing, on reducing the fiscal deficit, on making sure that we have a working universal health coverage, on sorting out the matters in education, on making sure that we have food on our tables. And I can tell you, I am well on course. Even with the challenges, the economic challenges that I walked into, I am well on course on implementing that agenda. We have since brought down the cost of living. We have brought down inflation from 9.2% to 5%. We have brought down exchange rates and also interest rates. So we are well on course. We now have a new system of funding our education system, as I promised. We have passed 4 new laws to anchor our universal health coverage. We have full scheme rolled out our housing plan that seeks to make 1 million Kenyans be home owners in Kenya. We have the first close to 120,000 housing units already underway, under construction in Kenya. So I am full steam implementing the agenda that I agreed with the people of Kenya.